This is the Rev1 by Ride1Up, and I've wanted to review one of these bikes since the first day that I set eyes on it. This particular model here is the full suspension version, but they also make a hardtail version. The full suspension version is gonna have a few different changes to it versus the hardtail, but this particular Rev1, as you can see, it doesn't look like one that you would find online. My friend Brad, who let me borrow this to do a little bit of work on his brakes, actually did some custom painting, added some P&W handlebars, and also this side mirror. He made this thing look like a cafe racer, and let me tell you, getting it out on the road, it definitely doesn't feel like an e-bike. It feels a lot more like a motorcycle. This thing is absolutely incredible. Let's go over all the details and the specs on this and kind of explain why a motorcycle looking bike is actually shipped out as a Class 2 e-bike. Now, the heart of this bike is the motor and battery setup. This is a 20 amp battery that comes on the full suspension version. It's got these awesome Buffang wheels that have the motor built into them, so you don't have a traditional spoke style rim. You actually have like an alloy rim that gives it a little bit more solid feel, and you don't have to worry about these wheels going out of true. Now, like I said, this comes shipped as a Class 2 e-bike, which limits it to 20 miles an hour pedal assist and 20 miles an hour throttle. So why do you need such a big controller? Well, Rev1 thought about that, and they knew that anybody purchasing this wouldn't want to keep it as a Class 2 bike. But I believe they shipped this as a Class 2 e-bike and had it locked at that state so they could sell this across the world in more areas. A lot of areas in the world are getting more and more restrictive on what you can actually ride and be classified as a legal e-bike. But Rev1 does give you the option to sign a waiver to be able to unlock this bike to put it in Class 3 mode and also an off-road mode. So a Class 3 e-bike would typically have throttle up to 20 miles an hour and pedal assist up to 28 plus. Well, whenever you go into off-road mode with this, it unlocks the throttle, so it goes just as fast as what the pedal assist would. And that's exactly how I would expect most people to be using the Rev1. The off-road mode is gonna give you that power that you're gonna expect out of a bike that looks like a miniature motorcycle. And also, as a side note, as of June 23rd, 2023, if you bought a Rev1 after that date, you've got a secret boost mode that you can actually access. Unfortunately, Brad's Rev1 was purchased way before that, so it doesn't have this option. So this boost mode will take your controller temporarily from 28 amps all the way up to 35. They say that this is going to significantly lower the range for the bike whenever you use this boost mode, but it'll help you climb those hills super fast or get those top speeds that you're looking for. So for example, when I took this out to the 19% grade that I test all of my e-bikes on, this one would just throttle only, smoked almost every single bike that I had pedal assist on. This thing has a ton of power already, so having that boost mode would be even more awesome. So if you have a Rev1 with boost mode, comment below. Let me know what you think of that boost mode. How big of a difference does it actually make? Now, as far as suspension, you are going to get a dual crown, giving it that motorcycle look and feel. So as for the shock on the back, I was really pleased to see that they actually put a somewhat decent shock on here. This is a D&M shock. D&M shocks are known to be kind of budget friendly. They're not a high-end shock like if you were to look at Rock Shocks or if you were to look at Fox, but it's a good entry point for a bike that's at this price point. The nice thing is that this does have some dampening controls, so you can actually make fine-tune adjustments. Not only that, it actually has a Schrader valve on it, so you can actually add or remove air just like you would on a traditional mountain bike. Now up front, you are gonna get some more motorcycle-like controls. You get a massive screen that's gonna pretty much display almost everything that you're gonna wanna be able to see for this bike. It's really easy to see in bright sunlight, and it's also really easy to see at night. The only thing that I think that they can do on the next iteration of the Rev1 would be to put a really cool color screen on here. But for what it is right now, the first iteration, I think they did a really good job at picking out a quality screen. Over here on the right, you are going to get some hydraulic brakes. Now these are no-name brakes, so they don't have any type of information on them on who made these or what these are. They do look a little bit more heavy duty than most mountain bike brakes. You can actually see the hydraulic fluid in there. They do use mineral oil, so they are more like a Shimano or a Tektro style brake. The calipers use a Shimano M810 pad, which is in Shimano's like Saint line of brakes, if you're familiar with that. And you can use either metallic, semi-metallic, or organic pads on these, all depending on what kind of braking feel that you like. The other nice thing is that these come with floating rotors, and floating rotors have a little bit better kind of almost feel whenever you're dealing with a heavier piece of equipment, and they tend to cool down a little bit quicker than just a standard rotor. And also the calipers on this, they are a 4-piston caliper, both front and back. You are going to get a headlight switch, which this headlight has a ring around the outside that actually is relatively bright. You could almost use it as a headlight if you wanted to, if you're going at slower speeds. But whenever you turn this on by tapping the power button, you're gonna have a low beam and a high beam, which is really cool. I haven't actually had an e-bike that I've reviewed that has a both high and low beam. It's usually on or off. And also sticking with the motorcycle feel, you do get turn signals, and you also do get a horn. Now the horn's a little weird because it's installed in the light. That's pretty common with most e-bikes, but it's facing back at you. So it's actually kind of obnoxiously loud whenever you honk it and you're on the bike. Now, if we go over here to the left side, you are gonna get your simple controls. You basically have a mode control, and then you have a plus and minus button to change between your pedal assist or your maximum speed that the throttle is gonna allow you to do. Then you have your power button. This battery is a standard shark fin style battery, which is really cool because if something were to go wrong with this, you can easily replace this with another battery online. Or if you wanted to get a little bit bigger battery, you could do that too. And then down here, you've got plenty of storage space. Now REVV1 does offer a cage that you can put in here, but you can also add an additional battery down here, and then you would have to purchase a battery splitter, but that system would work absolutely perfect, and everything can be stored nicely inside this compartment right there where your current controller already is. Now coming back to the back further, you are gonna get an awesome taillight. This thing is really bright, and it also has the integrated turn signals. I do really like how they push this all the way back because there's not gonna be anything that's gonna block this from somebody in traffic being able to see it. Now, Brad did modify this rear fender. This rear fender typically goes all the way back to prevent splash ups on you, but he doesn't ride this in the rain. So he actually cut this fender back. I think it looks awesome. It makes it look super sporty. And then he removed the front fender, which I think really shows off these beefy tires that are on here. Now these are gonna be CST tires, and they are truly road ready tires. All right, now let's take the REVV1 out on a ride. Let's go ahead and let's go out to my favorite hill to test ride all of my e-bikes on, and let's get there as quick as possible. This bad boy is fully charged and ready to tackle that hill. We're gonna do this hill in 2 different ways. I'm going to actually do the throttle only test because I believe that's how this bike should be ridden. But then I'm also going to do the pedal test that I always do to see if this thing will beat out all the other e-bikes that I've had in my lineup. Now, one thing that I find really, really interesting about this bike is this is like no other e-moped that I've ever ridden. The crank arms on the crankset are super short, and it's super responsive to its cadence sensor, and I wonder if it has something to do with that, because having these shorter crank arms, I mean, this cadence sensor just kicks in immediately. So it's actually not too bad to pedal because the throw of the pedal is so short, it doesn't feel real awkward. Now, you still look kind of goofy on a moped actually pedaling, but it does a good job. 39, 40, 41. This thing is having 0 issues, going super fast. This bike is so much faster than any e-bike that I've ever been on. It is as close to a motorcycle that you can get and not be a motorcycle. I mean, I know that you can get 60 and 72 volt systems out there that are much faster, but honestly, those high powered systems that are, 2,000 to 4,000 watt motors, those are pretty much motorcycles. This one, I'm cruising up to 40 with no issues on a 750 watt motor that's 52 volts. This thing is going to rocket up this hill. All right, here we are. This is the ultimate hill that I test all of my e-bikes on. If you've watched my reviews in the past, you'll know that this hill right here goes all the way up to 19%. We slowly ramp up to it by going about 3%, 12%, 15, all the way up to 19. We're gonna do throttle only test first. Let's go ahead and let's get going. Pedal assist 5, full throttle, and let's go. All right, here we go. See what we can get up to. This is gonna be the problem, is the lead in. See if we can get up to 25. We got to 25. We're now hitting about the 12%. And you can tell the bike is now experiencing the hill. And we're getting close to the 15% mark, still maintaining 23. Here we go, right up past this driveway is the 19. We're starting to slow down. All right, here we go. This is 19% right here. We're going 18, 17, 16, 14. All right, 12. This is gonna hold 12 and a half. That's impressive. I haven't seen an e-bike that can even hold that with pedal assist. There's no way any other e-bike that I've tested with throttle would have even made it up that hill. This one made it all the way up the hill, no problems whatsoever. 12 and a half miles an hour. Now the question is if I have a good lead in, how fast can I get up it? But first we're gonna go back down and we're gonna test this with pedaling. We are at the hill test. We're gonna do the downhill test. Let's get this thing up to 18 and we're just gonna let it coast down, see what it gets up to. We already know that this thing is super stable at 40, but what can a 100-pound bike get up to going down this hill? No throttle. Just saw 40. About 40 miles an hour max, not too bad. Okay, so we're at the bottom of the hill again, and I'm gonna do a pedal only. This is a single speed bike, so I'm gonna put it in pedal assist 5, and we're gonna see if it can go faster than 12 and a half, which is what the throttle did. Let's go, pedaling only. All right. A little hard to get it going because that's single speed. And this small crankset is so funny when you first start going. All right, we got up to 25 at the start before. We're already at 26. I am 27. I hit 27 there. It's kind of starting to ghost pedal. Feel kind of funny pedaling this thing up a hill, but it's capable of doing it and it's cruising. All right, here's the 19%. We're at 21. Woo. Pedals are hard. 18, 16. All right, 16, 16 and a half pedaling going up this hill. So a lot more power with the pedal assist, which that's to be expected from any e-bike. So this thing has a ton of power. So there you go, that's the REVV1 by Ride1Up, and I think REVV1 knocked it out of the park with this. Look at what you can do customizing it just with the platform that they have. There aren't a ton of accessories out there for this yet, but I can only imagine that people are gonna be building off of this platform. It's really gonna become a kind of Super73 style bike where people are gonna start making custom stuff for it. If you guys are interested in picking one of these up, definitely use my links below. It helps out the channel and it also lets Ride1Up know that you came from my videos. And yeah, if you guys like this video, hit the thumbs up. We'll see you in the next one.